Hey everyone and welcome. I'm Jen. Today we're going to be doing another advanced technique tutorial on adding chain link to a beaded using a regular beading wire necklace with wire guardians. And we're going to do a boho crystal inspired necklace today. Our supplies. Let's jump into it. Cut yourself a piece of 10 to 12 inch wire. I guess I'll stop right there and tell you the size I'm making. The size I'm making today is going to be a 22 inch. I've already pre-cut my chain. So I've pre-cut my chain, and I believe I cut, let me grab my board just so that I can tell you exactly. You want to make a 22 inch because that's what I'm making with no clasp. By the way, this is going to slip over the head. So it's going to be a little bit different than that last video. Well, it's actually quite different than the last video that I did on a similar technique here. So this is designed to slip over the head. So I cut if I can get it laying down there. I cut 16-inch piece of chain. And then the beads that I had already spread out and measured, they came to about 5 inches or so. And so with about 5 inches of beads, but we'll put it on the board and measure it together, and 16-inch chain, along with the wire guardians, this should be around 22 inches, designed to slip over the head when we're done. So hopefully that's what we are going to eventually get to. So let's jump into it. Let's go ahead and we'll string our beads on our wire. So go ahead, like I said, and cut yourself about a 10 to 12 inch piece of wire. And of course this is tricky to get that through. And we'll just go ahead and I will put my beads on. And when I do a design like this, I string each side as I'm going so I can kind of see where I land. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do, I think maybe, let's go this route. Let's put these big gold beads on, and then the pearl. I think that might look pretty. Let's see how that looks. I think I'll go the other way because of that bead cap. I want to kind of stabilize that a bit. So maybe I'll put the pearl on there first. And I think that might help my cause of wanting to have that a little more stabilized on that bead cap there. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, so I'm doing pearl, then the gold bead, the large 10 millimeter bead here. Okay, I'm almost done there. I was wondering why that bead cap was just like it's just not laying right. I'm glad I saw that. So yeah, important to look at what you're doing before you go ahead and start putting on your findings, because then you have to restring the whole thing, but we caught that in time, that's for sure. Okay, now we're good. Okay guys, so now that we've got that strung, here's what you do in order to add some chain to the desired length. And see very precisely how to measure out your chain correctly for the size that you want. So you see how I put that chain right up on the edge of that last bead, okay? And I'm all centered in here. And so then I would lay it flat, make sure it's nice and flat, and then I would grab my cutters and cut your chain at the 9, because 9 and 9 is 18, right? And if you wanted a 20 inch, then cut it at the 10. 10 and 10 is 20. And then you're going to allow, you know, a quarter or a half inch or so for your findings here. But, and also if you're adding a class. So be mindful of those measurements if you're wanting precise sizing. So we're done with our stringing here. Basically, all you're going to do is you are going to grab a crimp bead and feed it on the end of your wire, okay? And then let it drop down, and then you are going to grab a wire guardian and feed it on there. Let me stop right there, guys, because I feel like I need to get up closer into the camera. Let me put a bead stopper on this side so I can get up and show you, pick this up and show you what I've, really close what I've done. Okay, so I fed on that crimp bead, right? And then I just fed on my wire guardian. And a wire guardian has 2 holes on the bottom and then like a horseshoe with a divot to hide the wire up on the top. Okay, and so that's what we've got. Now you're just gonna basically take your wire up over the wire guardian, feed it down the hole on the other side, okay? And now you have a tail, okay? So now that's what you have. Now we're gonna take our chain, grab the last link of your chain and feed it over the tail, just like that. And it'll go onto the wire guardian. So you see what we have there now? Really super easy. Now you're gonna grab that tail, feed it through your crimp bead and then your first bead. And then what you're gonna wanna do is not pull it because we're not finishing it off, so we don't have enough on that side. You just wanna pull it up to where that first bead and that crimp are pretty close with just a smidge of space, just like that, up against that wire guardian. Squeeze the wire guardian closed, and then grab your crimpers or your chain nose, whatever you prefer, and crimp off your bead. And then grab a crimp cover and we'll put that over the crimp bead and we will close that up. And you can close that up using any kind of pliers that you want. You can use your chain nose or crimpers, whatever works for you. Just close it up to where it looks like a bead. And now look, this is what we have. See that? So we have our chain connected now, and we've hidden our crimp bead underneath that. Really, really simple. And now what you're gonna wanna do is maybe your first 2 to 3 beads, it's whatever you're really comfortable with. I like to do at least 2 beads. Feed that tail through those first 2. And now we can go ahead and clip off that tail of that wire. And now we will shake our beads down so that's nice and flush. Okay, so now one side is done. So now I'm going to do the other side the same exact way. So what I typically do is I kind of grab my chain. Let me put my bead stepper back on here while I'm doing this step. What I do, guys, is I kind of lay it down, my necklace, and then I will lay it to where it's kind of in like a circular motion here, like a half circle, because you need your beads to have movement, especially beads like crystals or glass, when they're so delicate that if there's too much friction on the beads, if they're too tight, if you lay it flat like this, your beads will crack, okay, as they're moving on the body in their natural way. So you're gonna wanna definitely have a little bit of space, so you don't wanna do it too tight, so that's why we always kind of put our necklace, as many of you beaders out there know, we put it like this for that reason. And what I like to do is I like to grab my chain and I just kind of take it and put it between my fingers to make sure it's not twisted. And I just do that all the way down. And then I'll lay it flat so it's not super twisted as I'm putting it together here, finishing it off. Okay. Alrighty, so now let's do it again, guys. And that's what you have. See? You see that? And so now, let me get this stuff out of the way, guys. That is being right at about 23 inches. And that's what we, look at how beautiful that is, guys. Look at how stunning this necklace is. Let me grab my mannequin and show you. This is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Look at that. How beautiful. Let me see if I can just get it held up here. There we go. That's our boho inspired crystal necklace with that gorgeous Figaro chain. And of course, it's my smaller mannequin, but oh my gosh, you guys, that's beautiful. Very beautiful. So I hope you all enjoyed this advanced technique on how to add chain using wire guardians to really any beaded necklace. You can use this technique for any type of chain and any type of beaded necklace that you have come up with. So I hope you guys give me a like, thumbs up, and enjoyed this video. Until next time, friends, be blessed.